Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games, and I'm here with another Star Wars Destiny video. And today I want to comment on the most recent FFG tweet. The Holocron is coming. Now I have to imagine the Holocron is not going to be, good news everyone, it's all the same. I really don't think that's what's going to happen. I had a video last week about the meta where I said I really don't think any change is necessary. We have this wide open, diverse meta, but it looks like FFG is intent on doing something. So I'm going to go ahead and break down what I would fix if I had to fix something. What seemed to be the problems? All right. So for me, the number one issue is Aayla is too cheap and fits in every deck. Now, some people have reacted to my statements of this saying she's not that good, she's not the key character in most of these decks. And I agree, but she is an insanely good secondary character that allows for some too good Profitable Connections decks to emerge. The whole point of Profitable Connections is it's supposed to be a serious sacrifice, right? You have to downgrade to a not very good character if you're going to use two to be able to use it. Instead, you're able to just throw Aayla with either Rey or Poe, get $3 at the start of the turn, boom, you're off to the races, or several other Profitable Connections decks. Not to mention she just works with every deck in the world. I don't want to see a Worlds meta that's like 4 different decks, all Aayla decks in the top 4. I don't want her to be that dominant. I feel like adding +1 to her limits her a bit, but still makes her very good. She's still undercosted, I think, at +1. That's where I would start. I'd Balance of the Force her, +1. Alright, next. Maul Saber's too good. Like, if we're going to do something to stuff, Maul Saber is in a lot of decks. It's really strong. It's really good. The real question, though, is, what do you do with it? I don't think you can make it 4 cost. You obviously can't change the sides. I saw a really interesting idea that you could make the text say, only use this power action if it's on Maul. I think that would be a terrible choice because I think that effectively renders the weapon worthless. So I don't think we want to go that far. Could we do something where it's as simple as power action can only do this action once per game? I would love to see that errata. You still get to have this really good lightsaber in a particular moment where it can be incredibly destructive. You get to use it again. I think that would be great. If I can't do that, I maybe put a cost on it. Something like pay a resource to use this, or take a damage. That might be interesting. Maybe you could say something like damage a blue character to do this. In other words, you have to have a blue character left in order to even use this ability, and then if you do, you're taking damage. Maybe that's a reasonable way to do it. The issue with that is, since it's usually on Seven Sister, it's not going to impact it too much other than making Seven Sister a little bit easier to kill, which maybe that's a good thing. So those are some possible ways to handle the weapon. I do think you have to do something with it. I think it's probably too good. The next card is Running Interference. I mean, the card isn't broken. I don't actually think it needs a fix, but it's a confusing card, it's a frustrating card, and more than anything, people hate playing against it. I always see these stories of, the card is totally broken because this one time it totally blew me out. And you're like, yeah, that's the whole point of it, right? Is that it sets up like a late game combo that blows you out. I know, there's a lot of things that do that though. But it is especially annoying. To me, the obvious change is you make it cost $1. We haven't seen changes like this yet that change the cost of items. But I think that would be the best way to handle it. It's still annoying, though. I grant you that. But if it costs $1, it slows the deck down, and it's much less likely they're going to take the time to put 2 of them down. That's $2. That's a lot of resources to spend on Running Interference. I think if you make it cost a resource, it really hurts it. Some other options could be taking the Imperial Inspection route. Once used, it goes away. The problem with that is, while it's less annoying, it doesn't stop all the blowout shenanigans. So I don't know that that's the answer. I don't really know what the best answer to it is. But if I'm going to hit a card, that's going to be one. I'd consider just banning the card though, also, because it's so frustrating and annoying. The problem, though, is if you do that, how much does it hurt the Sabine Ezra deck that seems to be kind of keeping other decks in check? As you notice, Sabine Ezra is not winning anything these days, but you have to be ready for it, right? If your deck just loses to Sabine Ezra, then you're in some trouble. So you can't play a deck that's incredibly dirtily because she will just kill you before you get where you're trying to get to. Something else I would love to see, I know it's going to sound crazy, just take Unkar off the Balance of the Force list. I don't think he needs to be +2. The dude doesn't have damage size. Just change the power action to say once per turn, which all these broken actions should be anyway. They should all become power actions. If this was my game, I would go through all of the actions in the game and make nearly all of them power actions, including Night Sister. I know Night Sister's not totally broken, but you just shouldn't have the ability to do endless actions with any of these cards. It should be once per turn. That's my thought on this. All right. So another card that I kind of want to do something to is Force Illusion. But don't worry, I don't want to do anything drastic. I want to put a cap on it. I think everything should be capped. I'd love to see something like prevent up to 2 damage, maybe 3. So it's still incredibly useful. This is how most people are using it anyway, but I think it should be capped at some magical number, maybe to be banned at the start of the next set. All right, so those are the only 4 cards that I would actually do anything about if I had the Holocron. Actually 5 if I'm bringing Unkar back. All right, but some cards that I'd like to watch and that I think I might want to ban before the next set are the following. Actually, not all just bans, but I think C-3PO needs to be changed. He's too good. The dude is too good. He does too much. I don't know what the change is. Maybe it's just simply making him 2. Maybe it's removing him from the game because he's just too good. I think Seventh Sister needs to come up a notch. She needs to cost 1 more. I don't think she's so oppressive right now that she has to come up now. I think she's really good in the 1-turn kill deck, but I think if you're ready for that deck, it's not as good as it once seemed to be. Boba Seventh Sister is another story just because it pumps out so much damage so quick. I don't know. Price of Failure is another card that I've seen a lot of people have problems with. Again, this is mostly in the 1-turn kill deck along with Boundless Ambition, and yes, they're great cards, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're so far over the power curve that for this Holocron we need to blow up this amazing meta and do anything with them. Though I would probably just ban them at the start of the next set. They've been problematic is the bottom line. Whether or not if they're good, it's kind of the running interference, the Price of Failure, Boundless Ambition. These are cards that go into a pool that I call annoying and problematic. Let's just get rid of them. Why have these cards around causing issues? Hyperspace Jump is another one. I think we just have to ban this card. We still have Retreat, which is really good, but leaves your opponents a little bit of option, like they get to do one more thing. Hyperspace is too good. It should be gone. Again, though, if we ban it or do something drastic to it now in this current meta, I feel like it's going to have a big ripple effect. Vehicle decks become a lot worse. Mill decks become a lot worse. I don't know if we want that with how awesome the meta is right now. This is, like, if the meta was terrible right now, I'd say ban all these cards. But since it's so good, I want this Holocron to have a light touch. Another card is Ralliate. That card is also really good. I want to ban that. But again, I'm a little afraid that if we nuke it now, does the vehicle deck have enough oomph to actually make a mark at Worlds? And then the last card that I've seen several people say needs to be nerfed is Yoda. And I totally disagree right now. I don't think Yoda is at a spot where he needs to be nerfed or banned. I still think, and I've thought this for a long time, that whatever a die is at the start of an action is what it is for that action. And this knocks out a lot of the chaining. And to me, chaining is a problem because it speeds up the game too much. Anything that we can do to slow down the game a little bit, I'm all for. Right now, I don't think Yoda is hurting the game. I just think special chaining in general is a problem, and I think it will hurt the game eventually. But for now, Yoda's fine. Let's leave him alone. Bottom line, if we have to have a Holocron that messes with the best meta we've ever had, let's have a light touch, guys. Ayla +1, something small to Maul Saber, some change on running interference. Make it cost 1. I think that'd be fine. and Cap Force Illusion of 2 or 3. And I think if we do that, we're not going to actually mess with this beautiful meta we have right now. We're just going to fine-tune it a little bit, make people maybe think a little bit more about their Worlds decks rather than just, you know, take a set list right now from a regional winning deck to Worlds. At least make them think, maybe I should change a card or two. But I think we're in a great spot still. I think even with a Light Touch Holocron, we're in a good spot. And let's all gather together and pray to the Star Wars gods that this isn't one of those nuke it all! Everything's nerfed! Everything's banned! I'm hoping that is not the case. And I'll see you next time on Tiny Grimes Games.